All right, guys, practical one. I'm going to talk about the study guide that is posted on Blackboard and hopefully alleviate any stress as far as preparation goes. I don't want there to be any surprises on this practical, so just open up the study guide and follow along pretty much while I talk through it, okay? So you guys have been working in groups of 2, and ideally it'll take us about 15 minutes per person. That's why we're in 30-minute time blocks. The schedule is posted on Blackboard right below the study guide. So make sure you look at that. Only come at your allotted time, okay? I made the schedule so that morning people should be in the morning, evening people should be in the evening. Other than that, your partners are randomized. And if there's any issues, let me know as soon as possible, but I don't think there should be, all right? The time blocks, like I said, are 30 minutes. Please show up a few minutes early because we are on a tight schedule. So if one group gets behind, that sets everybody else behind them a little bit later, which can mess up the schedules, especially in those last blocks. So please just be diligent with your time, show up a few minutes early, and then be ready to go. Practical one for you guys is pretty much lab number 3. So I told you guys when we talked about lab to be very comfortable with this protocol, and this is why. This is exactly what we're doing, just with some very small modifications, okay? So you will start by introducing yourself, briefly explaining what the YMCA cycle ergometer test is and what it measures. Explain the full procedure to the client as if they have no idea. So just because your partner is in the lab and they should know the protocol for YMCA, you talk to them as if they have no idea what it is and that they've never completed it before. All right, you're going to talk to them about what you are doing. So you're going to be running them through the test, increasing workload. You're taking heart rate and blood pressure at various points throughout the stage, asking them RPE, etc. You will calculate 85% of their age predicted heart rate max. So you don't have to do this off the top of your head. You can use a calculator, that's fine, but know how to do it. All right, know how to do it so that you can. We are not going to be taking any resting values, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, you are going to, as far as the test goes, you're going to set up the seat height for the client. Make sure you know how to do this. Height of the iliac crest, heel down on the pedal, the leg is straight. When the toes are pointed, there's a 5 to 10 degree knee bend. But like I have said multiple times, the most important thing is comfortability. So you might have set it up where you think it's perfect, but if they don't feel comfortable, we need to change it. We need to fix it. So we are going to be doing the first 2 stages of the YMCA test following the exact protocol that you guys did in lab 3, except stage 1 has a slight difference. So we'll provide this protocol sheet to you. Do not waste your time memorizing every number on here. We will have it there in the lab for you to look at. For stage 1, it is slightly modified. We are taking 2 heart rates, whereas typically in stage 1 we would only take 1. Because in stage 1, you got to remember, we're not looking for steady state. We're using that to determine what workload they need to be at. All right, but for the sake of time and the practical and making sure you guys are competent in your skills like you should be, we're just going to do 2 heart rates and then talk about steady state as if we were looking for that. So it's a 3-minute stage. Client is always at 50 RPMs. You'll set the workload to stage 1. And then around that half to 2/3 mark through the interval, through the stage, you'll take heart rate 1, you'll take your blood pressure, that second heart rate, and then RPE. So just to reiterate, typically in stage 1, we would not take a second heart rate. But because we're only doing 2 stages, that's why we're doing it for this practical. Steady state is still not required to move them on because this is still stage 1. However, I want you to be able to explain what the steps would be should they have not reached steady state and we were looking for it. So if this were stage 2 and they did not meet that steady state criteria, what are the next steps? Okay, that's what I mean there. Be able to talk about that. Stage 2 will look exactly like stage 2 does in your typical YMCA bike test. 3 minutes long, 50 RPMs. You're setting the workload accordingly based on their heart rate in stage 1. Same protocol for heart rate, blood pressure, heart rate, RPE. And then we're going to assess if they reach steady state. So we will both, you and I, or you and Kennedy, whoever you get, you will be taking heart rate at the same time, one arm for each of us. Blood pressure, we will have the dual stethoscope, so we'll be listening in with you. We'll take that second heart rate the same way, and then you'll ask them RPE. So that's how we confirm your numbers, and that's how we know if they reach steady state or not ourselves, so that we're going to ask you, did they reach steady state? And then you need to be ready to answer that. Okay, talk about why or why not, and then what the process is if they didn't and they had to go on. All right, know the test termination criteria. This is a question on your practical, I will tell you right now. So make sure you know these, not only for your practical, but if you ever were to actually run a YMCA test, it's very important to know these for the safety of the client. Your heart rates need to be within 8 beats per minute, and that is on a full 1 minute count. Okay, so that's not 8 within a 15-second count. That is within a full minute's time, that full beats per minute, you got to be within 8. All right. For blood pressure, you need to be within 6 millimeters of mercury for the systolic and diastolic. Okay. Like I said, we're taking measurements with you. We are going to do 15-second heart rates for the sake of time, but you'll take that, multiply by 4, right? And then that's how we compare from that sum or product. All right. And then the final thing, you do not need to know the exact calculations for VO2 max, but you need to know a general understanding of how we get there using the graph from our YMCA bike test. So from the test, we're going to plot their heart rate and work rate onto the graph, exactly how you guys did in lab 3. We'll use the equation on the graph that it gives us, and then we can find their predicted max work rate. From there, we can use the predicted max work rate and their body weight to find their VO2 max. We do not use blood pressure to predict someone's VO2 max. All right, we use the heart rate. That's what we're looking for. That's why we're looking for steady state heart rate during the test. This covers pretty much everything on your practical 1. Okay, I will tell you right now, know steady state criteria, know the protocol for the YMCA, know the test termination criterias, be skilled with the heart rate and blood pressure enough that you can confidently take it. If not, make sure you guys are coming to Open Lab, you're practicing, you're asking for extra help. Okay? If you have any questions, just send an email to myself. You can send it to Kennedy. We'll both be able to help you out with that. All right? But other than that, make sure you check your times. You are only showing up at your time. So, for example, Trey, he's going to show up at 9 because he is scheduled for 9. Truthfully, he should show up at 8:50, 8:55. But he's not going to come at 8 a.m. just because he might come at 8 a.m. during our regular labs. Okay, so just for an example, you're only coming at the time that corresponds for you and your partner. All right. Any questions that you have, make sure to ask sooner rather than later. Any questions, concerns, all that good stuff. All right, you guys will be fine.